Hey y'all, February 4th. How's it going? It's about 4 o'clock. We're going to call it a day. My toes are freezing. My hands are freezing. We ran the guts out of the heat until my eyes were burning. So we got the bearings installed in the new bearings installed for the spindles. We got the new parts and pieces. Thanks, kid. Kenny went and picked up the 3-inch square tube that we're going to cut the yokes out of, right? The U-shaped yoke. He got me the new kingpins as well. It's all metric, right? The car originally had that 30 millimeter axle, being from England. Threw me off a little bit because it's got a 5/8 heim joint here for the steering, and the steering shaft itself is 5/8. So none of that's metric. I think the tie rods that come with the cart are still with it. They came, they're stainless steel. I bet you anything those are metric. I bet the hardware is all metric. So I should have known that these would be metric. It's a 1-inch outside, 26 millimeter, 10 millimeter kingpin, not 3/8. So I was kind of freaking out because a 7/8 by 3/8 was not going to work. I'm thinking, oh man, what did I do here? But once we changed the once we changed the caliper from English to metric, and then went in the house and did our search, everything made sense. We got 4 bearings for next to nothing, $16 or something out the door from Granger right around the block. So we know what we're doing here. We're trying to make a little ground here, getting everything set up to paint. We scuffed and wiped everything down. It's going to need another wipe down. We reworked the little room here and hung a rod in here, old curtain rod or something like that, or closet rod, a clothes rod for your closet or something. I think it came out of my mother-in-law's room. Hang it up so I'm going to make some hangers to hold the tanks from the mounting tubes, literally upside down. So we can put the catalyzed primer on them tomorrow. It's nice with the catalyst. It doesn't really matter how hot or cold it is. I mean, you don't want to do it sub-zero, but as you've seen, the clear coat hardened up, no problem with it being 55, 58 degrees at the most up in there. No problem at all. So we should be cool with that. We'll get that stuff going tomorrow, and probably start cutting and grinding on some other things here. Don't know if we'll start cutting on the yokes or nothing like that yet, but we do need to get the brake mounts, the old Paul Martin brake mounts off these spindles, and then decide whether we're going to take the arms, the steering arms off and start with all new, or what we're going to do, because the little mounting brackets to hold these calipers use one of these bolts here and then this front bolt. So it's literally sits, the bracket is very, very short. It's just a short stubby, and with this thing being on an angle, this steering arm here, you see how they had to tweak this one here. We don't have enough material with the bracket. I think it's a 1/4-inch thick bracket, or 3/16. It's pretty thick. It's way thicker than this one here. These are very aggressive little brakes, man. They really, really, really grip hard. We used a Margay spindle on the RPM chassis that we built, and the first time I ran these brakes, we went to Summit Point, and I literally bent the spindle arm twice, and then put the cart back in the trailer and ran the backup car. So we really got to make sure this is strong, whatever it is, before we weld our brackets on to mount these. We'd love to have these things so the bleeders were straight up in the air. That's always kind of been a pain in the ass. On Richie's cart, this thing was way, way down here, and you see what's going on, right? You see that shape of this bladder, air would get stuck up in here, so you literally got to unbolt it, bring it up here, let it bleed, and then put it back on and bolt it all back together. We kind of want to avoid that if we can. Don't know that we're going to be able to get it up on top of the kingpin like that, maybe like this. That would probably work too. Just get them up on an angle. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But maybe we'll mess around with a little bit of this just to kill some time while that primer's drying. Brewster, thanks Bruce. Bruce Peck sent us the Horseman clutch. It'll be here Saturday. So not tomorrow, Friday, but Saturday. It's scheduled to show up, so we're excited about that. And we get the clutch, we can clean up the axle and put the new cassettes and bearings on the axle with the clutch already on and all that, and bolt that together, and then it won't come back off. I mean, it's on and it's on, done and done. With the brake hub and all that stuff, I think we're gonna put a new brake hub on, because the cassettes were on the outside of here, and they're not supposed to be on the outside. They're supposed to be on the inside. So we bought a different cassette, a much smaller type profile of cassette, so we can put it on the inside. And we're going to have to make a little block, a little booster, a little spacer block to move the brake caliper over a little bit. That's why the guy put when he changed the 1 1/4, he put the cassettes on the outside, because I guess it was too tough for him to make a square block of aluminum with 2 holes in it, just to space it over. And it is going to move the rotor over a little bit, but you don't hang outside the seat here anyway, so it's not like you're going to be getting into it. I don't know what the big deal was, but man, that paint looks cool, doesn't it, man? Wow, look at that. Whew. Wow. So, yeah, once we get the rear end and play clutches here, we get the rear end out, then we can go ahead and start working on these spindle bits, just cutting the yokes, drilling the holes for the kingpins, and then busting out our new stub axles and trying to sand the angle on them. To what we're found is about 12 degrees, and then we'll tack them in place, put hubs and tires and everything on the rear, hubs and wheels and tires on the stub axles on the front, and then just see what we got going on for camber. And we just want the tires straight up and down with no weight on it. That way, when we get it loaded up, if it does anything, it'll give us just a little tiny negative. Not much. I mean, putting a 200-pound driver in here is not going to tweak the daylights out of them, especially with all new kingpins, bearings. There won't be any slop in any of that stuff. New spindle shafts. So, yeah, we're pretty excited about it. We're freezing right now. My hands are freezing. My toes are numb, so I'm going to get ready and head in the house. That's it for Thursday the 4th. That's all we got for you. We're gonna go in and warm up a little bit and get us a coffee. Hang in there, y'all. We're gonna start making some progress putting this stuff together, getting over to Rich's house and working on that F-125 as well, so we can at least have something for us to drive in April. I mean, we'll go up there and run the track day without a go-kart, but man, that's no darn fun, is it? I mean, Lord willing, he gives us the time to get up there and play. We want to have a toy to play with, so. Larry, I can get Larry to bring. Larry's got all kinds of go-karts. He can bring me something that'll run, I hope, that has brakes and stuff, Lawnmower man. All right, Sean, Dave, Larry, Ben, Lance, all the guys out there looking in, God bless y'all. Godspeed. Hang in there. We're praying for you. See you guys.